Today we're going to be painting this beauty. Rolling hills, a line of trees, a simple path. It looks difficult, right? But it's not, because it is all about the simple shapes. The trees are just long elongated silhouettes with very little details. And then we keep the background soft. And at the very end, stay with me and I will show you how to make the path look realistic and put everything together. Okay, let's start with the sky. All right, so we're gonna start with the sky because the sky set the value for everything else. So I'm waiting all the way till my horizon line. A quick note, if you want to paint alone, the tracing and reference photo for these perspective scenes are on my Patreon. I'm gonna leave the link on the description. Cobalt blue. And yes, I put it around the trees. It doesn't matter, our trees will be darker. And then the paper is wet, is allowing us to have soft edges, which is what we want in a sky. Let's just pretend, I've pretended that this is a big cloud, so some of the sky will show, pick a little bit around here, a little bit of magenta here, on the cloud. Pale magenta. Move my brush in a little circular motion. And I'm mixing some French ultramarine with burnt sienna. I'm making a little bit of a gray, and with this gray, we're going to put a little bit of gray, some grays, to build my brush. Take the color out, go in a circle, and now we're going to allow all of this to dry gently by itself. And now that the sky is dry, we're gonna, before we move into our path, we need to build up a little bit of our distance hills. So I have one over here with this area. Cobalt blue, I added just a little tag of burnt sienna so that I could make it maybe a little bit less bright. The brush that only has water, we bring it down. This has allowed our mountain to look far away. Again, a tiny little bit of my raw sienna. I want to turn it slightly onto the green. These colors, I still, as you can see, they are not bright because the lack of brightness is what is going to give me distance, because I want to not pretend that these are hills. They are very far away. So I wet. I continue with the same colors. Cobalt blue, of course, with the Naples yellow, I believe. So I can bring a little bit more of Naples yellow in a couple places, colors, and with more water towards the end, and with more color and brightness as it gets closer to us. I put in some of my darks over here, which I'm gonna bring some bushes to. Then I'm separating, making this getting closer to me and pushing the other things even farther away. Finally here, I'm gonna come with a little bit of burnt sienna. Kind of give those terracotta kind of looks these type of landscapes have. This is what we're doing here is an underpainting. Now it's time to build our greenery. This is, I'm coming here with olive green, very diluted. We're gonna pretend there are some, because I want to push this back, like they are not so close to the trees. So let's just pretend there are some bushes growing out there. You can go like this, like I'm doing. You can go with light diluted paint and then go with a brush that only has water. It's kind of dumb, and blend it. Or you can wait ahead of time and then come with your color, the brush that has color, up to you. Put some of my darker version of this. In this size too, but this size, like I said, is I pretended that it's closer to us. So I can go a little bit darker here. Start bringing a little bit more of the olive green. I'm gonna build up till there. While I build up my greenery, so I wet, and that way I put this on hold, so to speak. I come with these darker colors, and then as I go over here, let's just get them higher, because making them bigger and higher also brings this thing closer to us and pushes the other things even farther away. Because it's wet, the colors blend. Bring in higher and then smaller, and then here at the very end I will have a shadow. So instead of having a hard edge, I'm just going to bring my water. I'm going to put it kind of like in a stopping point. And now, one with raw sienna, light color. I'm going to start building a little bit of my path. It's a curvy, so I go like that, and then right away I lighten it up. We will work on this later. So this is burnt umber, and then I put some over here, closer, but not quite to the edge. I break that edge up, and then as I go farther away, I just fade it. I don't want almost no color here, of very, very little. Then I'm gonna do kind of like the same thing here. I'm following a little bit of how the road here is curving. Here will be a little bit more flat. Then I go with water and I dilute. And as I get closer, I'm going to bring a little bit of burnt sienna to warm these things up a little bit more. I'm going to wet first, like if it is a little curved, because this type of roads, sometimes paths have something in the middle to guide us. So I wet, and then lightly, very pale. Put a little bush over here, kind of like if our path continues to go, give the illusion that continues to go into this direction. So I'm going to put another bush over here, a little darkness here on the edge. Stopping our eye, guiding it to go into that direction. Start with our trees. This is gold green, and I'm coming with olive green too. Now, everything in the painting, because it's perspective, that's how it works, is guiding our eye. So this tree here is closer. It has more color, brighter color. I'm going to put this wetted, put it in a stopping point, and I'm going to start working on this other edge. I'm starting with the olive green, blend. I'm bringing some French Ultra to the mix of olive green. Now these trees tend to have the needles kind of standing up. Some of them will come around, and obviously if we have it in that edge, it will come into this other edge as well. We continue to do our cypress trees. This light, this side over here is light. Then I come with the darker, and then I allow them to blend while they are wet in the middle. And these trees are actually pretty easy to do. All you have to do is get a few of those characteristic sticking up things on the top, and then our eye right away reads them as trees. So I keep in this part light, I come with the darker, and then we build these edges. They go on top. Now as I go back, I get my darks a little bit more on the cool side, meaning more blue, and my light colors also less bright, so I'll go back to the raw sienna and cobalt blue mix. And why do I do this? Because that is going to give them distance too. So we are accomplishing the distance by the shape of our trees, going from bigger to smaller, and also by the colors for going from brighter and warmer to cooler and less bright. Come with a little bit of the light, like some trees are behind, right? And then I just come with the darker color, and we pretend there is more than one. There are like several of that. And while these two dry, if I put this one, all my darks and lights will mix. So I can go ahead and start making one that I have over here, again, to guide our eyes to the path. And this one is gonna be darker. Now, because it's gonna have less detail. And then, I allow a little bit of zigzagging here on the edge, olive green, and more of the blue. My tree is a little bit too dark, so I'm coming with tissue, and then I lightly blob. This is kind of giving us a stopping point where the heel will stop. So it will be another one around here. And then let's just put a little bit of water on one edge. That should be enough. Now we're going to finish these two since these are dry. We're going to build these grasses here. This is gold green with sap green. I put a little bit of nonsense and then I go with water right away. Wrap some over here in this corner while it's wet of the olive green. And we will do something with it later. Maybe put a couple more details just because this is closer to us. It's starting to dry a little bit, so I'm coming now with just water and I drop a little bit. It's gonna give me textures that are gonna resemble something more like grasses. Get closer and closer to here. I wet ahead of time. And then I'm just gonna drop some of those colors and then also some Naples yellow by itself. There I come just with water. This is creating, by not putting it all smooth, this is creating the impressions of grasses. Starting to warm it up and bring a little bit of detail here. This is just burnt sienna. And I'm bringing it here in this part of the road. I'm not going farther away with that one. And now I got burnt sienna and I add a little bit of burnt umber. And in this other one, in this other brush, I just have neutral tint. We're gonna start putting our trees because they're floating like that and it's just driving me crazy. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna anchor the tree first. So I come in with the one that is burnt sienna and burnt umber. I put a little bit there, put a little bit here, blend, put it over here. I don't want any white. I want it lighter, but I don't want any white. Building the road now. So I'm coming here with greens. They are dark, but they are cool, meaning it has more blue. I put a little bit on the edge, then I go with water, and then I'll soften a little. If I go zigzagging, up and down, then I come with my blending brush, and then I bring the color down. It's gonna start turning, okay? So we're gonna turn then, put a few over here, blend, blend, voila. I'm gonna keep building here, go with the same color, ring it on the edge. You can come a little bit with the color too, then spread it out. And continue to build a little bit of the shadows, a little bit of grasses, and then when it needs to be a little bit darker, right close to the tree, then I'll do it as if it is grasses. You need to bring this one all the way, and then it will kind of come down and come down onto the edge. If it goes into here, then it's gonna come a little bit also to the road. However, this is gonna be in greens, and the color on the road, the shadows on the road, we're gonna turn it into being grays. As I go farther, I'm gonna have the dark, but I'm gonna have less and less detail. So just the shadow, but I'm not gonna even look like, I'm not gonna pretend to make it look like it's the grasses or nothing, just shadows of the trees. A little dark one right here to separate the edge and shadow from one of these trees. They will continue to come over here, across the road. Darker color, which make it maybe bigger, and then pretend that the grasses, just impressions. Drop a little bit of the terracotta colors around here too. Put a few details, like if there are grasses, again, detail, that doesn't mean that I paint every single blade. I just add a little bit of darks, warm this up a little bit more. So I'm coming here with Naples yellow, and then I'm just gonna go with water. Again, I wanna keep the bright colors closer and then just dilute it as I go. We are making grays with French ultramarine and burnt sienna, and so that we can be ready to apply our shadows. So let's just put these shadows of these trees, that the trees will come and it will make them come also onto the road, and that is gonna guide our eyes. Also, some are gonna be shorter and some other ones will cross over and be wider, like this. Now it's gonna be part of one shadow. As I go, same things apply though. As I go farther away, my shadows are there, but they are a little bit lighter. And these other ones, as they get closer to us, they can have more detail and even get a little bit darker. And this one will cross all over, actually, across, because maybe more trees are here casting these other shadows. Looking good, almost makes you feel like you are walking out there in this path, taking you for going for a nice afternoon stroll. I'm coming with a little bit of the burnt sienna, and it has a little bit of Naples yellow. I'm warming it up a little bit here. Just kind of like the areas where the sun will hit, where in between the shadows. I have to bring the same grays that we were using for that. Some of them will go into a road. A touch of gray here too. I waited ahead of time because the only hard edges are the ones for the trees. This other has to be soft. Of course, we're going to put some here. I don't like the white, total white of the paper, so I'm going to bring a little bit of these greens that they will also be reflecting into the pavement. But I'm keeping that only here, and I'm leaving that here it is. We accomplished what we set up to do, create a landscape with a path that guides us farther and farther away. A path that doesn't look like a cut-out B, but that it makes sense and blends within the landscape. And that's the magic of this type of paintings. Simple shapes, soft distance, and a path and shadows that guides you through the whole painting. Tracing and reference are in the Patreon, and if you like me to paint more landscapes like this, put more in the comments. As always, I thank you for being here, and I will see you in my next video.